Prohibited materials. Good afternoon. Oh, I'm loud today. Joining us from Duke University is Reagan Richardson and Celeste Taylor. They will tip off against Colorado tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Reminder to give your name and outlet prior to asking questions. We'll open it to the floor to student athletes.
This is for Reagan, C.L. Brown with the Raleigh News and Observer. How would you describe the process that Coach Lawson has gone through in terms of meshing with the amount of transfers and, people that started in other places before coming here? How would you describe how she's been able to kind of mesh you guys together into a cohesive unit?
I mean, just trusting each other. She mixes up the teams all the time in practice, so we're able to just play with each other and learn each other's game dynamic and stuff. So I guess that helps a lot. And then just us just being together off the court also helps as well.
Just as a follow-up, was there a point this season where you were the light switch flipped on, this is clicking now?
I mean, since summer, we've been starting clicking. I mean, it's not, like I said before, not even on the court stuff. We hang out all the time off the court. So I guess that helps with our team dynamic as well.
Hey, this is Ranjan Jindal with the Chronicle. After last night's win, you guys haven't lost back-to-back games all season, and it seems like Coach Lawson's message has really been, to stay focused game by game and not look too big picture. How has that message really helped you guys, especially in March when there can be a lot of outside noise about looking, big picture at the whole tournament and just stay focused game by game?
Celeste, do you want to start with that?
So even throughout the season, the record that we had, we weren't looking too far ahead at the next opponent. It was just the game that was up next and who we had right then and there in front of us. And so regardless of the wins or the losses, we just try to stay focused on who we have next. I mean, we don't want to lose 2 times in a row. We don't want to lose in the first place. And so just having to bounce back and learn from the previous loss or even the previous win, we just try to stay focused on who's right in front of us.
Reagan, do you have anything to add?
So that's probably said it all.
Hey guys, Kelly Gramlich with ESPN. Y'all just went off offensively last night. It had been a while before you've scored in the 80s. I know you turned your defense into offense, but give me, for both you guys, a few keys as to why you think y'all were able to score the ball so well last night.
Reagan, start.
I mean, through the time that we had, we kind of just focused on us, and we worked on our offense, just making sure that we had the right reads, making sure that we can push it in transition, and that's something that we do best at. So I feel like that probably helped us going into last night's game.
Celeste?
Like Reagan said, that off period, it kind of helped us just get back into our flow. We had a rough time scoring. I think a lot because we weren't executing, we weren't making shots. We got great looks, especially in our last 2 games. We got great looks, but against Virginia Tech, we weren't hitting shots. And so I think just coming into the gym and working on those in-game shots and making them game-like. And, I think we've done a pretty good job of just realizing that it's March and we have nothing to lose, but, we just want to go in there and we want to compete and we want to win. So we know it's crunch time. And so I think everybody's really locked in and just focusing on their shots. We all have confidence in each other. I mean, we've seen each other. Everybody goes off in practice. It's anybody's practice any day. And so just to know that you have players like that on your team, we know we can produce offensively. We know that. And so we just had a hard time the past few games. But yesterday, I think it showed that we're clicking and that it's our time.
This is for Celeste. If you can take me back to 2021 at Texas when you guys made the run to the Elite Eight, are there any parallels with that team and this team that you see, just in terms of character and the way you approach the game? Was there any kind of similarities that maybe you feel like this team has that kind of a run, is capable of that kind of a run?
I think it's completely a mindset. I think going into it, you have to just be ready. You have to be ready at all times. And I mean, I wouldn't say the styles of play are similar, but you have to be aggressive. You have to want to win. You have to want to compete. And I think when it goes down the line to the last player on the bench of wanting to win and doing anything that they can for the team in order to help us win, I think that's probably the biggest parallel, I would say, is just that mindset and that want to win and that want to fight.
There aren't many programs that can press 40 minutes like you guys do. I know as a player you're laughing because it's not easy, but you guys make it look easy. I know you both come from Texas and Georgia, right? So you've seen other college programs. What is different about Duke in terms of y'all's strength and conditioning where you're able to press like that for 40 minutes, never let up, and it doesn't really feel like you lose gas at any point?
We'll start with Celeste and then Reagan.
I think the biggest thing would be our rest and recovery in this program. I think that's definitely what separates us. And then our depth. I mean, you put anyone out on that floor and they're going to compete and they're going to pick up whoever needs to pick up the ball. They're going to pick up 40 feet. And so I definitely think it's the team we have here with the trainers and everybody. Coach Kara does a great job of listening to how our bodies feel. And I think when you have a coach like that who's willing to listen to, today we don't feel like we have our legs today, so we'll take a easier practice, but it'll be shorter, but it'll still be very intense. And so when you have a coach like that who listens to how you feel as a player, it definitely helps to be ready to be in those games and be ready to press for 40 minutes.
Yeah, going along with CT said, I mean, rest and recovery is also important, but everybody on the team also has that grit and determination to just want to be the best that we can be. We all compete in practice, and that kind of helps us as well. Like Celeste said, we all want to just be together and play hard and just be that. We have that depth, as she said, so that depth kind of helps us as well.
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press. I just want to follow up on Kelly's question from earlier about the offense. How good did it feel with the ball was just going in the basket so much last night? And do you feel like now you can – maybe there was a thought that you couldn't compete well in a high scoring game, and does that kind of maybe put that behind you a little bit?
Celeste and then Reagan.
I wouldn't say that we ever felt like we couldn't compete because we don't go into the games thinking that we're not going to score. But, I mean, it definitely felt good to see the ball go in the basket. But like I said, we really, I have so much confidence in my teammates. Sometimes I don't even want to go in there and rebound because I feel like the shot's going in, if somebody's having a bad shooting night. I just feel like that one shot is going to be the shot to go in. And obviously I try to crash. But, yeah, we just have so much confidence in each other. It's just I've never felt like we're going to go into the game and we're not going to score enough points to beat the other team. That's just never the objective. Obviously, defensively, we know.
I mean, it was awesome just seeing the ball go in. It also obviously boosted our confidence with that. And so just watching everybody else get theirs, it kind of motivates all of us to get ours too.
I just want to ask about Colorado. I don't know how much you guys were able to watch because you were getting ready for your own game, but they looked really good yesterday, hit 13 threes. They seem to feel at home in your own gym, so that's interesting. But just tell me your initial thoughts on Colorado and the challenge they present.
Reagan, we'll start with you, and then Celeste.
I mean, up to this point, we've been focused on Iona, so we haven't really got to see much of Colorado just yet, but we'll be prepared for that for sure.
Yeah, we just started our scout on them literally right before we got down here, so it's kind of new to us, but they run a lot of actions that we've guarded before, and so it's all about us executing. The coaches were up all night getting us ready for it, and so just listening to them and what they have planned for us to do as far as the scout goes. But then we have to go out there and we have to execute offensively and defensively. Everybody's going to be tired because they're giving it their all, so we just got to see who pushes through. But I'm very excited. They're a really good team. They shot it really well from the three yesterday, and so it's all about what we can do, and I'm really excited to see, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Kind of piggybacking off of Colorado, they call this a shooter's gym because of, the depth perception, the intimacy of it. the lighting even. Would you guys characterize it that way? Is that something that's a thing? I had never really heard of it referred to as Shooter's Gym before.
Reagan, we'll start with you.
I haven't heard that either. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I enjoy shooting in Cameron. I had a pretty good shooting night yesterday, but we come in here, we practice. We practice in it a lot. So I guess for us, I'm gonna always say any gym is a shooter's gym when you're a shooter. So, but it's great playing in Cameron. It's great when we're hitting shots in Cameron, the atmosphere and everything along with it. So I'll say it's a shooter's gym for sure.
Anything else for Reagan and Celeste? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Your shoes.
Thank you.
For those who can't see them, they are very stylish. Good afternoon. Joining us from Duke University is head coach Kara Lawson. She will tip off against Colorado tomorrow night at 9 p.m., and we will open to questions for Coach Lawson.
Ranjan Jindal from the Chronicle. Yesterday, you held one of the best percentage three-point shooting teams in the country to 2 for 10 from behind the arc. Last night, Colorado hit 13 threes, their highest all season. What's going to be, some of the keys to stopping them from behind the arc and also generating those turnovers and fast break points that you guys did last night?
I think we have to be disciplined within our scheme. I think is always the most important thing, no matter who we play. Have a great understanding of personnel and of it being able to impact what they do. I think this is true of any offense, but you have to be able to disrupt on some level. And disruption can occur in a variety of ways. It can occur from pressure. It can occur from the actual scheme. It can occur from just being in the right place at the right time and then being consistent with that possession after possession. That's the challenge. When you play a really good team, they're really good. I mean, they can score and they can guard and they've got size and they've got really good quickness and athleticism. I mean, they're complete. So it's really going to be about how consistent we can be in our defensive discipline, possession after possession after possession, and try to make things difficult, knowing that they have a number of players that can make hard shots. I think for us, you just don't want anything open. We say a lot like no open layups, no open threes. It's really easy to say. It's so hard to do. You try to play a game and not give up an open layup or open three. It's really hard to do. We want to try to do it. That's our goal, and one of our goals. And they're going to present a lot of problems because they have players that are really good at making layups and threes.
Kara, C.L. Brown with the Raleigh News and Observer. What's been your kind of philosophy and approach to transfers? Because I imagine when you played, there was still maybe not a taboo, but it was still a very careful thing. But do you feel like it is just fit personality-wise, character-wise, more important than what the stats may have shown they've done elsewhere?
I don't know that I have a philosophy on anything. I think so. When we got here, we were one of the worst teams in the league, in the ACC, and we needed to increase the level of talent that we had within the program. And our first spring, all of this is moving. It changes. And, if you work or cover college sports now, it's changing all the time. So it's not, since I got the job, it has just changed completely because I got the job in middle of 2020. And in my first year on the job, immediate eligibility was passed, or I might be saying that wrong. I'm not too good on the legislation, but it was allowed. And then can't remember what was first and what was second, but then right around that same time, everybody playing got a COVID year. Well, that completely changed the landscape, right? Because now all of a sudden, people can leave and have immediate eligibility, and now all of a sudden, 4 classes of players get a 5th year. So I think we're all trying to navigate and figure out, where can we create an advantage for our program, and where can we maintain our identity and our culture of what we're trying to build, but also have remain competitive in a landscape that is changing. So for us each year, we look at, what our roster, self-evaluation I think is critically important in this landscape. Like, what do you have? You have to know what you have. And you have to know that about yourself very, very well. Like, what do I have in my locker room? And then once you know what you have, you can then go figure out what you need. Well, a lot of people are like, I'm going to go get what I need, but they don't even analyze what they have. You have to know what you have first. Then that informs what you need. So we just do that as a staff. And it's not just me, it's our whole staff. How can we keep growing as a program? And if that means signing, a high school player, which I think we have a top 5 class coming in 2023. It's not like we've ignored the high school ranks. I think our class in 22 is a top 10 class. So first class we sign is a top 10 class. The second class we sign is a top 5 class. Hopefully we can get a higher class in top 5 in the next class. But we are very much so recruiting hard the high school ranks, because there's a lot of talented players out there. And then as far as the transfers go, again, it's what you evaluate what you have and what you need. So I can't say I have an overall philosophy. I guess that's probably it. And then each year it changes. So what we needed after our first year was an influx of just talent overall. What we needed last year was a little more targeted, because we knew what we had in the locker room and we knew we needed to add some things. We obviously felt like we needed to add size coming into this season when we looked at what we had last year. And so we were able to be targeted in our approach and go after, size, and bringing in Kennedy and Taya and Mia to our group. And so that's kind of, I can't go into every individual decision. We'd be here forever, but that's what we look at. So at the end of this year, obviously, we'll look at what we have. And then if we feel like there's something, you don't always need something. It might just be what you need is like one more year together of continuity. You don't always need something. I'm not saying always need something. But if you evaluate you do need something, then you pursue that hard. I pursue things hard if it's something I need. If it's something you need, not something you want. Think about it. If it's something you need, not something you want, your pursuit is way different. When I need something, I go after it. And that's what we've done.
Callie Gramlich with ESPN. Coach, speaking, kind of piggybacking off of that, did you envision when you became a college coach that you would want a team that would press 40 minutes and apply that kind of defensive pressure full court? Or did you look at your roster and look at maybe what you could get in the portal and apply that? Is that going to be something that you feel like Duke continues to do throughout your time here in terms of pressing for most of the game?
I had no idea what my team would look like when I became a coach, and I had no thought of like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and that's going to be our identity. If you pin me down, I would probably say this team plays nothing like I envisioned a team would play, because I like offense a lot. Believe it or not. You might watch us play some games and not think I like offense, but I do. That's how I was as a player. I would jack a 3 on a 2-on-1 fast break, and Coach Summit would get mad at me, but it would win in, so I would smile at her. I like that part of the game. But as much as I like offense, I like winning more. You have to decide what you like more, what's most important to you. I think you have to, again, it goes back to the self-evaluation. I think every year you have to look at what you have a good understanding of the players, and then what their strengths are, and then try to put them in position to succeed. What is going to help us win the most games? If that's a style that's maybe a little different than I envisioned before I was sitting in this seat, okay, I'm willing to do that, because winning is the most important thing. I say that a lot. People probably get tired of me. Like, the most important thing is to win. Players, the most important thing is to impact winning. The most important thing when you walk off that court is, did you win or did you lose? Not how you played, not did you have a highlight. And so for us in this group this year, I feel like as a staff, and you guys know this is so much bigger than me. My staff is unbelievable. And so they're more the architects than me in terms of the daily work with the players to teach them how to play. And then as that goes, I think this group, these players, bought into the system this year, and I think as a coaching staff, we have found a style that fits this group well. I don't know perfectly, I'm not gonna say that, but really well, and that has combined for a lot of wins. I think 20. How many wins do we have? 26 wins now. 26 wins. That's a great year so far, to be able to have that, and so I think we've kind of hit our mark a little bit here.
Coach, going back to tomorrow, you guys are playing. You and Colorado play kind of some of the similar numbers, similar stats. Sorry, if you look at the numbers, how do you approach kind of playing a team that kind of matches up with you like that?
Well, like I said before, they're an excellent team, and how we play is we have to be very sharp in our execution. There's no way around it. Like you just can't have too many plays on either end where you're making mistakes because they capitalize on them. And that's what happens when you play good teams. Like you can get into scheme and style and numbers and all this stuff, but like at the end of the day, it's like the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. That's how it works in big games. And so we have to find a way to not make as many mistakes and to be able to, pressure if we can in certain moments of the game. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, I pay attention to numbers. I'm not saying I don't. I do. But, if you paid attention to numbers against them, then they made twice as many threes than they normally do, right? So if you're paying attention to numbers, then, you're going to say, oh, well, the numbers didn't say that, but you're losing. You're going home. You can't be just all caught up in numbers. You have to play the game and play the possession and then adjust as the game's going on. Maybe they're coming in, you're playing a team and they're not particularly good in this area, but in that game they are. Well, you got to adjust and figure it out. You can't say, well, the numbers say they're going to start missing. Yeah, okay, wait for that. Right? You got to play. So our players know that. They know that they've got to play and they've got to play well, and you should have to play well. This is a game to go to the Sweet 16. This is the severe cut. This might be the most severe cut in the tournament when you think about it, going from 32 to 16. There's not any pretenders in the Sweet 16. And so you've got to earn it, and it's going to be a back-and-forth game. It's going to be down to the end, and that's what it should be for something as important as a chance to play in the Sweet 16.
Kind of going back to the transfers who came in, you have a few who made the Elite Eight back in 2021 with their respective teams. How much has that experience maybe helped, even though this group together hasn't done it yet? Did you see any of that, especially with the way you guys came out focused last night? Have you seen any of that kind of pay off with the preparation for these games?
Those players. Who has been to the Elite Eight?
Celeste, it was Texas, Baylor, Jordan.
Jo, yeah, and E, yeah. Those players, I don't know that maybe they talked in the locker room. You have to ask them, but I just since they've been here, they're very confident in themselves and what they can do, and they're some of our greatest competitors. So I can't say that is come from that they've been deep in the tournament, or that's just kind of who they are. But they're very confident in what they can do, and they've obviously, there is something to be said for experience in moments like this. So I think with Celeste and E and Jo, they're there's nothing new about this for them, and so sure, I think there's some benefit to that for our roster. How much that filters over to the rest of the group, I can't say that for sure, but. I have a good idea of what they're going to bring tomorrow, and that's nice as a coach when you have a good sense of what your players are going to do in a big spot.
Anything else for Coach Lawson? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Joining us from the University of Colorado is Aaronette Von Lay and Kendall Wetta. They will tip off against Duke University tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We will open it questions for the student athletes.
For both of you, you guys have done a good job of moving on from one game to the next. Do you have to balance some emotions of like you got to win in the NCAA tournament with hey, just move on and this is another game?
Start with Aaronette. Sorry,
yeah. Start with Aaronette.
I think, yeah. I feel like we've been doing that all season after any big win. So this is kind of just the same thing, but it's all just back to back to back. But we definitely spent a good amount of time like after the game just enjoying that feeling and living in the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Aaronette said. We have had a lot of great wins this season, and our coaches really prioritize turning around and focusing on the next game. So celebrating, but celebrating quick, and then focusing on the next team.
Kelly Gramlich with ESPN. Aaronette, you were at Arizona last year and were not in this kind of role that you are at Colorado. You're the co-most improved player in the league. How have these coaches empowered you to take your game to the level it's at right now?
I'd say the main thing is just believing in me. They obviously saw that I had the ability to be good, so that's why they recruited me. And then just living up to that, like constantly giving me advice and coaching me up, giving me confidence.
Kendall, your impressions of having Aaronette this year and the difference that she's made, for you guys in the post.
Yeah, at preseason, we were doing some just like pickup runs, and I knew immediately like she was going to be one of the best, if not the best, post player in the Pac-12, and she's definitely proved that this season for sure. And she's been a great person to play with and also have on the team.
Bob Sutton with the AP. Kendall, how excited do you think your team may be to test your three-point shooting again tomorrow night after the way the ball was falling last night?
Yeah, no, we're very excited. I remember before this past game, we were talking about this gym being a shooter's gym, and Jalen came up to me in one of the timeouts and was like, it's a shooter's gym. And I said, yeah, you're right. So we're excited, for sure.
Frida told us the same thing, by the way,
Yeah.
a couple days ago. She was calling it. You guys obviously got to see probably more of Duke last night than they got to see of you guys because they were getting ready for their game. You know how much they want to press. You know how big it is and what they do. I know you guys were working on press breaks today, but for both of you, the mindset, what is that like going into this game knowing you're probably going to see that kind of pressure for 40 minutes?
Start with Kendall and then Aaronette.
Yeah, we see a lot of pressure in the Pac-12, and so we're not necessarily concerned about it, and we have some great ball handlers on the team, but we welcome it. We're ready to be pressed and pressured and take on that challenge.
Yeah, I just think that our guards do a good job of handling pressure, especially in the Pac-12, like she said. So this won't be any different, and then us posts will be in the backcourt if they need us.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to follow up on the three-point shooting, is there a chance that there was a little fool's gold there maybe when, you're so successful one night and does that maybe you don't want to get out of what you normally do?
Maybe, but I also think it's given us a lot of confidence going into the next game. We shoot like that in practice too, so we know that that's something that we're capable of, and we obviously don't shoot that great every single game, but we know that we can, and if we see that the shots are kind of falling next game, then we'll know that we have that again.
Sam Ravitch, ESPN. How about the rebounding as well for you guys? I know it's a big philosophy point for Coach, but last night it really kind of showed in the game. What kind of has been the rebounding philosophy for this team all year?
Aaronette, we'll start with you.
We definitely spent a lot of time this week just working on boxing out, making contact and kind of just the fundamentals. But I'd say all season, we always have a goal before the game to give up a certain amount of rebounds. So it's just like a 50-50 effort of boxing out and then just making sure you're going and grabbing the ball. So.
Yeah, that's something that we have always prioritized. Toriano is huge on rebounding, offensive rebounding, and boxing out. And so that's been a goal all season, like she said.
You guys are obviously very scout-driven. As you guys have tried to learn about Duke very quickly, do they remind you of anybody you've already played this year?
Kendall and then Aaronette.
Not necessarily. They're a very quick team, so probably a little bit kind of like USC maybe. But they're I think different than a lot of the teams we've seen in the Pac-12 so far. You can find similarities anywhere, but different than most of the teams.
I'd agree. I mean, there's definitely some similarities. Like you could compare some of their players to players that we've seen in the past, but as a team, I don't know. I feel like it's a little new.
We talked to your coach, I think 2 days ago, about how the Pac-12 has prepared you guys for different styles. You see a lot of different styles in the Pac-12. And from your answer, Kendall, I got a little bit of a vibe that maybe you think the Pac-12 is not getting some of the respect that they deserve nationally. I think it's underrated in some respects. Am I off on that? Like, how did the Pac-12 get you guys ready for this moment?
Well, like you said, there's lots of different styles in the Pac-12. I wouldn't necessarily say the respect part. I think that that's proven, with games in the NCAA tournament. But you see a lot of different styles, teams that want to push and transition, teams that want to run set offenses. And I think you get a little bit of a sense of every type of play. But I don't think anything quite like Duke because they've got more of guard play, like more transition. So just a little different in that sense, but nothing too crazy.
Kendall, before last night's win, it was 2003 that Colorado had won a tournament game a month before your birthday, so you weren't even born yet. Mm-hmm. You're the only Colorado native on the team. You've seen the narrative of some of the high school prep stars going elsewhere. Talk about the pride you have and what drives you to be a Colorado Buffalo and what tradition that you're looking to instill.
Yeah, well, that's why I chose to come here. Is when I committed first, they weren't very good, but I knew that I wanted to stay home, and my mom played there, and I wanted to do what I could to help bring the program back to being a NCAA competitive team. And obviously, that's not just me; it's additions like Aaronette and Quay and Tam, and an amazing point guard in Jalen and Frida, and so it takes a whole team. But I do feel like I've been able to play a small role-ish in bringing us back to being a great team.
Anything else for the student athletes? Thank you, ladies. Yeah. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. Joining us from University of Colorado is Coach J.R. Payne. She will tip off, her team will tip off tomorrow night against Duke at 9 p.m. We'll open questions to Coach Payne.
Coach, you guys are so scout driven, and now you only have like less than 48 hours to get ready for a team you've never prepared for. So, what's the process been like for you guys? Was one of your assistants working on Duke this last week? And kind of what's the process and how is it different from what you've normally experienced?
The scouts this week were kind of group efforts more so than normally one person does the entire scout. And then we game plan together. But both of our assistants were working on the scouts this week. So the scout was done. And then last night you watched the game and sort of verify, okay, what we saw on film is the same thing, as they're doing now. And so, the hard thing about Duke is that they run a lot of stuff and they play a lot of players. And so it's a lot of information to try to ingest in, 24 to 48 hours. So I think that's the biggest thing is, making sure that we're trying to learn as much as we need to learn. We won't know them as well as we would know UCLA or Stanford or someone that we've seen, for many years. But we'll know them well enough to know, what they want to get out of certain things and what we'll try to do to slow them down.
Hey, Coach. Kelly Gramlich with ESPN. I asked Aaronette about this, and her main answer was these coaches just believed in me. That was kind of the difference. But she was at Arizona last year, didn't do much at Arizona. Obviously, you saw her, I'm sure, in league play, thought she can help you guys, co-most improved player. So just tell me more about her evolution and how important she's become for you guys.
Yeah, Aaronette, we recruited Aaronette in high school, so we've known her, for a long time. In fact, we were joking about our Zoom meeting because she was recruited during COVID where you couldn't really go spend time with anyone. And she's very quiet, as you probably noticed while she was up here. So we were laughing the other day saying she probably said 3 words on our Zoom. And we got off the call and we're like, was that good? Like, did she like us? And so, Aaronette, we've always known that she's extremely capable. She comes from a very athletic family, very smart family. And so, we saw how she did at Arizona and just didn't have a lot of opportunity. And so when she went into the portal, we knew that was someone that we wanted. Like, she became a huge priority immediately because we knew what she was capable of being. And she's thrived and blossomed all year long and really growing in so many ways. The basketball is just part of it, but growing as a student and, just all of it. And so we really feel like her best basketball is ahead of her. We believe so strongly in what she's capable of doing and what she's capable of being to this team. And so we're going to just continue to watch her grow. It's pretty exciting, though.
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press. While we're on the topic of transfers, Tiana Jones is a kind of a local player from here. How did she end up in your program?
Tay started at Georgetown. I think she spent 2 years there before she came to Colorado. And one of our coaches, found her through just the transfer portal and then looked her up, watched her film, and she kind of fits our style, long, versatile, athletic, and was something that we felt like we needed. And it was a long ways from home, for her to come to Colorado. But I think we just sort of made a good connection. I think what we were offering was what she was looking for, and sort of a fresh start and fresh opportunity. And when she first got there, those players were not eligible to play, as a transfer student. And so that was COVID year. So all of a sudden, we're 8 games in or so, and she's redshirting and, training as if she's redshirting. So not really getting like true game reps and things like that. And then all of a sudden, everybody was eligible. And so it changed her process pretty quickly, which I thought she handled really well, because that's a difficult thing to do when you're prepping for a redshirt year and then all of a sudden you're playing. So she did a great job with that, and really special to be here in her neck of the woods with her family just down the road. And it's been great.
Sam Ravitch, ESPN. Your first thoughts after winning the game last night were what?
Oh, just excited. I mean, I think we had built up enough lead that you sort of knew it was coming, but until the final buzzer sounds, we're just excited. I mean, that was our goal, was to come and win games. We don't want the season to end. We want to keep winning. We want to keep playing. And so to take sort of that first step and being able to do that, everyone was just really excited.
Looking at some of the numbers, you and Duke like to do some of the same stuff. Does that make a quick turnaround scout easier, harder, about the same?
Yeah, like I said, I think because they run so much and because they play so many people, it makes it a challenging turnaround. Our team, I think I said this yesterday, we have a highly intelligent team, really academic group that knows how to watch film, knows how to study a scout, and knows, sort of how to weed through it and be able to say, okay, these 3 things are important. I don't need to know 23 things. I need to know these 3, and be able to lock in like that. So I trust our team, led by our upperclassmen for sure, to make sure that we know what we need to know and we're ready to go.
You mentioned Duke plays a lot of players, and does that make your bench more important in a game like this, where you've got to keep fresh as well and make sure that those girls are coming in and giving you good minutes?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought our bench played great last night, and we'll expect that again tonight or tomorrow. But I think anyone that steps on the floor on both teams probably needs to be ready to play. However long, however tough, they're going to need to be ready to play. So, for us, I mean, everyone is really confident in their role, confident in what they know they can bring to the team to help us be successful. So I trust that every single one of our players will be very ready to play when their name's called.
Coach, I know Kelly Graves has been a mentor for you in a lot of ways, from St. Mary's to Gonzaga and all these types of things. What did you take from him? How has he helped you as a coach? And maybe just playing for him in general. We're obviously going to talk about Kara coming from the Pat Summitt tree, but you come from the Kelly Graves tree.
Yeah, I love talking about Kelly. He's just one of my favorite people in the whole world. Kelly came to St. Mary's, where I was playing my junior year of college. My first couple years hadn't been as much fun as I thought they would be from a basketball standpoint. Coming from Canada, I always tell people my first game of man-to-man defense was my first open gym at college, and so I wasn't totally prepared for American basketball. And the first couple years weren't, like I said, as fun as they were. And when Kelly got there, he really just reignited my love for basketball, and made it fun. And I think 2 of the biggest things he taught me were that basketball is highly competitive. It's high stakes. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of competitive spirit, but at the heart of it all, it's supposed to be fun, and to be able to laugh and have joy, on a daily basis throughout your training and environment. That comes directly from him. The second thing he taught me, or his wife Mary taught me, was that you can have it all. You can be a great coach, you can be a great mom, you can be a great mentor, leader, whatever that might be. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And so as a woman coaching at this level that is a mother of 3 children, and it's hard sometimes, to do it all and to have the best of everything. But I learned as his assistant at a very young age, you can do it. And so so I think those are probably the 2 biggest things. We talk every single week. He's in my corner. We talk, not really even that much basketball, more just life and how things are going. And he's definitely a blessing to me.
Your team has been very good at being even-keeled in situations throughout the year. This is a very new situation, being on this stage. But do you feel like your teams so far today, are you seeing they're handling it well and not in awe? And are you confident that they'll be just fine in that regard tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I think our team is a very mature group. We have a lot of upperclassmen that do a great job of keeping us right where we need to be, whether that's really fired up or really everybody needs to take a step back and relax. Whatever is sort of needed in the moment, our upperclassmen do a great job of setting that tone. And I definitely think today's been a great day so far. We've already just been watching film and, had a good practice, and now we'll rest a little bit. I think we're all kind of tired from the late night, and definitely will be locked in for tomorrow.
Anything else for Coach Payne? Thanks, Coach. Good
All
luck
right,
tomorrow
thanks,
night.
guys. Thank you.